Alright guys, just wanted to show you my tomahawk collection and small axe, warhammer collection, whatever you want to call it. And I just want to start on the end here. This is the cold steel Warhawk. It's not a full tang, but it's made to basically damage a human, so it's not really made for woods or nothing like that. So definitely do the job. It's got a real sharp spike on it, real sharp blade, 1055 carbon. Got 2 screws that hold the blade in, but overall it's not a bad hawk for the price, like 30 bucks. This one I kind of was hesitant about, but I finally pulled the trigger. This is a Smith & Wesson Extraction and Evasion. I believe it's 1065 still, I believe. But this thing is super thick. You're not going to break it. You're definitely not going to break it. I mean, you can use it to pry or whatever, but it is actually a decent hawk. Real sharp spike on it. Real sharp blade. So I definitely suggest picking one up if you're into hawks. The next is a Bokor Carnivore. This is SK5 steel. Very, very well nice. I've cut with this and it cuts really well. And it's sharp all around it. So you got to be careful. This thing will cut you bad. If you get one taken out of the sheath, it will definitely lay a number on you. But definitely not bad. It's got these finger grooves. The only thing I have against this is if you turn it around, the grooves are not, it's not really ergonomic. That's my kind of only gripe about this. But you do have a little striker here, and I guess you could tie a lanyard in that if you really wanted to. But overall, it's not bad. This, I have the same kind of gripe where you can't turn this around. This is the CRKT Hawk from CRKT. It's designed by RMJ. If you know RMJ Tactical, they're probably one of the best makers out there. This one also, sharp all the way around it. Comes to a tanto tip. Very sharp blade. Kind of the beard here is a little bit sharp too. So definitely a nice hawk. This is SK5 steel as well. Next up, this is kind of my dream hawk. This is the RMJ Shrike. Now this one's 1075 steel. The older ones were 4140. But overall, this is a good steel. And definitely a really good hawk. The end cap screws unscrews kind of like the old survival knives, and it's got a sharpened steel on the bottom of it. And this thing is actually isolated, so if you hit electrical lines with this thing or have to cut anything that's got electricity, it's not going to shock you. So that's one good thing about this. The beard is extremely sharp. I mean, this thing will cut you really, really bad. And it comes to a real heavy tanto tip. They say this thing can pierce Kevlar helmets. That's really what it's designed for, because they're designed a lot for our troops. But overall, this thing's nice. Next up here, this is the SOG Fast Hawk. I know a lot of people have probably seen this over the years. It's definitely been out there. It's not really one for like wood crafts or nothing, more for defense, but I wish it had a better tip on it. This tip is not the best. Of course, you can't expect much. It's like 30 bucks. So, but it does have a real sharp point on it, a real sharp edge. So, can't really complain about that. I think this is, it's not carbon steel. I believe it's 440. Next up here, this is the cold steel trench hawk. Very similar to the Warhawk, but the tip is a little different. It's more of a arrowhead type of spike here. The beard is about the same. Same 1055 carbon. Same handle really. You probably take this handle off and put on the other one, but that's definitely a nice one. This next one here is just a cheap cameless axe. I'm actually not sure the name. It's titanium coated. I think it's 440 steel, but it's just a cheap axe. This is also another cheap one here. This is the M48, which I modified a little bit. I kind of sharpened it up and sharpened the tip up and spike a little bit. Definitely if you want to defend yourself, that's probably a good one to use, but overall the quality is not the best. This is S-Wing. I've actually modified this one a lot. It had a real crazy spike on it, so I kind of grounded it down to a hammerhead. But definitely not a bad little hawk. You can get these in different configurations. Bearded axes, two bearded axes, all kinds of them. This is an American company and definitely well made. Next one up here, this is the Cold Steel Viking X. Very long, 1055 carbon. It has a little set screw in it so you can undo it and it will slide off the shaft. So overall it's not a bad little axe. But next up here, this is the CRKT Rune. It's kind of the replacement for the Kanji Hawk, and it's also designed by RMJ, made by CRKT. And sorry about the smudge there, that's oil. This is SK5 steel as well, and you got different lanyard holes here throughout the handle, and very grippy handle. It's not rubber per se, but it's kind of a plasticky feel, but it's really hefty. Next one here, this is the Marvel's Fireman's axe. Very sharp. You have to really be careful taking this thing out of the sheath. The sheath is really nice. It has 3 different pockets for different things like sharpeners, fire steels, whatever. You got a cutout here for fire hydrants. You can turn it on or off. So, and it's sharp all the way around it. So I mean, this edge goes all the way around. So definitely be careful with this thing. And these are not that expensive. They're about 20 bucks or something like that. But for the money, I mean, you really can't beat them. And I'm not sure. I think this is 1070 steel, I believe. Next up here, this is the Cold Steel Pipe Hawk and 1050 carbon steel. Not bad. I stripped off the coating. That's why it kind of looks a little rough. But they come with a nasty coating on the blade, which I hate. I stripped that off. The next one here, this is the Cold Steel Warhammer. I've done the same thing. I've stripped it off. The languettes, though, you can't strip. They're just black. But this thing, it's not crazy heavy, but it's enough to where you could do some damage with it. And really crazy spike on it. And the hammerhead is definitely going to hurt. And I've modified it a little bit. I've burnt the handle and varnished it and clear coated it and everything. So next up here is the Cold Steel. I believe this is the Spike Axe, Spike Hawk, whatever you want to call it. But it definitely comes with a sharp spike and also 1055 carbon. Done the same with the handle, varnished it and burnt it a little bit. When you get it, they come basically shaft without any kind of varnish or anything on it, so you can modify it a lot. But I just want to show you my hawk or axe collection, whatever you want to call them. You can call them pretty much whatever, but just wanted to show it off here. Thanks, guys.